Have you noticed the latest polls, or are they too horrific to talk about?
Well, it depends which poll you're talking about.
Well, let's do the one in the eye last week, which gives Reform a 15-point lead over Labour and an 18-point lead over the Tories.
And you'll see. I think talking about polls 4 years out from a general election is a bit of a distraction.
If you were doing well, you'd be talking about them all the time.
No. It's a bit of a distraction from talking about the issues that people really care about. When I knock on people's doors in my constituency, no one's talking about the polls. They're talking about illegal immigration. They're talking about what's going on in Epping. They're not talking about the polls. But if you want to talk about the polls, I'll talk about the polls very briefly. Firstly, yes, look, Reform are ahead in the polls. But there was a poll, I think, a couple of weeks ago over the summer, which showed that the Conservative Party might have overtaken the Labour Party. But the fact is, these aren't. This is not an indication of how people are going to vote at the next election. There isn't an election for the next 4 years. Everything is to play for. And what all political parties need to do is show the British people exactly how they will solve these problems, rather than just promising things they can't deliver on. And that's what the Conservative Party is doing right now.
In the last month, Reform, which has 4 MPs and doesn't have the resources that the Conservative Party has totally dominated the political agenda. Every week, another press conference, Farage, Foursquare, last week dominating it again. Now, you can argue whether the detail is right or wrong. Where was the Conservative Party?
Well,
are you in hibernation?
Andrew, I've noticed that you haven't mentioned the major announcement that Kemi's made this morning.
Remind me.
OK, so, well, I'm sure you read the papers, Andrew, because you're a very smart guy, and it's running at the top of the BBC Bulletin, which is that Kemi has said that we will take every last drop of oil and gas out of the North Sea in order, and that is a major announcement, which is great for jobs in Scotland. Kemi's going to be up in Aberdeen, I think, saying a few words about this.
Is this the end of the Tory support for net zero?
Yes, I mean, Kemi gave a speech, as you remember, I think in March, saying net zero by 2050 is unachievable. There is no point in destroying British business and British jobs, chasing after something that won't happen, particularly when the US and China are not following net zero at all. We're not going to do what Labour's doing, which is sacrificing British business and British jobs on the altar of this unachievable goal. It doesn't make any sense. So, we will allow drilling in the North Sea rather than importing oil and gas from other countries as a sort of crazy loophole to get around the assessment of hydrocarbons. So I think that this is a party which is coming forward with major policies which are a big change from what we've seen before, and you will see a lot more of that, Andrew, in the months to come.